They called him a carpenter's son. A nobody from Nazareth, a place so small that people joked, can anything good come from there? But something was different about this child. When he was born, shepherds knelt in a dirty stable. When he was 30, heaven opened like a curtain, and a voice spoke, "This is my beloved Son. Listen to him." His name was Jesus. And he was about to change everything. One night, his disciples were fishing in the middle of the lake. The waves were violent. The wind screamed. They were fighting for their lives. Then they saw him walking on the water. They screamed in terror. Ghosts? Demons? But a voice cut through the storm, "Don't be afraid. It's me." Peter, the impulsive fisherman, didn't wait for proof. He stepped out of the boat. And for one impossible moment, he walked too. But then fear took over. He looked at the waves. He started to sink. Jesus reached out and grabbed him. "You of little faith," he said softly. "Why did you doubt?" Wherever Jesus went, crowds followed. Not for sermons. For miracles. A man who had been paralyzed for 30 years, carried by his friends through a crowd that blocked every door. What did Jesus do? He looked at the man and said something strange, "Your sins are forgiven." The religious leaders in the room whispered, "Blasphemy." But then Jesus turned to the paralyzed man and said, "Pick up your mat and walk." And he did. Right there. In front of everyone. This story still shocks people today. Jesus sat at a well at noon, a Jewish rabbi talking to a Samaritan woman. Samaritans were the people Jews considered unclean. They didn't talk to each other. Ever. But Jesus wasn't interested in what people said was impossible. He offered her something no one else had, living water. Water that would never leave her thirsty. She didn't understand at first. But then he revealed something only God could know, he knew her secrets. Every broken relationship. Every failed marriage. Every whispered rumor. And instead of judgment, he offered grace. She ran back to her village, the same village that had rejected her, and told everyone, "Come see a man who knew everything I ever did." Could he be the Messiah? That day, an entire town believed. For 3 years, Jesus had walked with them. He had called them friends. He had healed their wounds. He had shown them a love so radical that it scared them. Now, in a quiet room, he did something no teacher had ever done. He picked up a towel. And he washed their dirty feet. These were men who had failed him. Denied him. Abandoned him. Yet he knelt before them and served them. "This is how you should treat each other," he said. "Love one another as I have loved you." They arrested him that night. Beat him. Mocked him. The crowd that had once welcomed him with palm branches now shouted, "Crucify him." He carried his own cross up a hill called Golgotha. And there, between two criminals, he was nailed to a wooden cross. The religious leaders laughed. He saved others. Let him save himself. But he didn't come to save himself. He came for them. For the soldiers who drove the nails. For the crowd that mocked him. For every person who would ever doubt, fail, or run away. He looked up and said, "Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing." 3 days later, women went to the tomb to anoint his body. They found it empty. An angel appeared and asked a question that changed history. "Why are you looking for the living among the dead? He is risen." 2,000 years later, his name still splits history in two. He didn't build a kingdom with swords or armies. He built it with grace. And if you ever feel lost, alone, or like you're sinking beneath the waves, remember, The same hand that reached out to Peter, is still reaching for you. What do you believe about Jesus? Share your thoughts below and subscribe for more faith-filled stories.